Yo, it feels good to be back with you guys talking wrestling here on Heel Nation. It's been a while, but that's okay because we're going to drop this first video of the year, and what it's going to be is I'm actually going to give WWE their flowers. I know a lot of you guys are crybaby bitches and you're going to cry and constantly say wrestling sucks and all this, but the WWE is starting off on fire. AEW, of course, is starting off like shit. TNA, I had big hopes for them, but that first show sucked. We're going to be talking about this. I'm Chevy Gunner. This is Heel Nation. I'm going to catch you up on my thoughts on what's going on this year so far. Then I'm going to give you my Saturday night main event predictions and my Royal Rumble predictions. Let's get into it.
Bring it back.
Now, this video may be a little bit long, or maybe not. I got to get back in the swing of things. And, look, I was going to start back on January 1st, but I got that brutal super flu and was all fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. All fucked up. But I'm back now. So anyways, I'm going to start busting out this content for you guys this year. This is the year I'm going to take this channel seriously over here. Guys, I want to start off by talking about how on fire I think the WWE is. I think that so far, the 3-hour SmackDowns have been great. The stories have been great. And guys, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Last night on Monday Night Raw, I did not know if Finn Balor was going to win the world title or not. Now, I wanted him to, but it was... when I was sitting and watching this very, very great match in Ireland, by the way, when I was watching this match, I realized that I didn't know for sure if CM Punk was going to retain the title. And a lot of that is because of Drew McIntyre, and a lot of that is because so far, the WWE has tried to keep the Royal Rumble unpredictable. I think a lot of us don't know for sure what's going to happen in the Rumble. With a lot of these championships, I don't really know what's going to happen. We're going to talk about it here today. I'll kind of give you my predictions going forward. But ultimately, I think the WWE has shined all year long so far. So what I'm going to do right now, but let me go over Raw last night. Let me go over this because a lot of things, you know what? No, I'll just talk about all the stories that's happened. Guys, I want to say this. This career killer shit that they're doing with Gunther, I think is fantastic. Now, AJ Styles last night, in order to get his rematch with Gunther, put his career on the line. I know a lot. I think this is great, by the way. I think the career killer for Gunther is excellent. I like seeing AJ Styles out here, even though his promos are corny as fuck. He came to John Cena's defense. I think it was fantastic that Gunther choked out John Cena. I know a lot of you people had a problem with the smile. I did not. I thought the Saturday night's main event against John Cena was fucking perfect. I thought it was great. But a lot of people believe that AJ Styles' career will end at the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm going to do my Royal Rumble predictions later, but I'm going to go ahead and touch on this now. Because last night, as you guys know, they had an excellent ending finish to the match last week, where Gunther was actually tapped out by AJ Styles. But Gunther was smart enough to do it where the ref couldn't see it. Now, AJ Styles demanded a rematch, and we all know this is AJ Styles' last year. AJ Styles, he got his rematch. He's getting it at the Royal Rumble, but Gunther demanded that AJ Styles put his career on the line. Now, for me, I said, he's going to do it. I think Gunther's going to end the career of Brock Lesnar this year. I think Gunther's going to end the career of Chris Jericho this year. I think he's going to end the career of R-Truth this year. And I think he's going to end the career of AJ Styles this year. But it's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles is going to get the win at the Royal Rumble. And I think he's going to get it by disqualification. And it'll set up a third match at the Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania. I know a lot of people think that Brock Lesnar and Gunther is going to go at WrestleMania. I don't think so. I think that match is the match saved for SummerSlam. I think that's when Gunther wins and ends Brock Lesnar's career. I think that Chris Jericho might be his WrestleMania opponent. I'm not 100% sure. Not WrestleMania. Money in the Bank. Either way, I think that Gunther is going to end AJ Styles' career. I think this is the last feud for AJ Styles. This one right here. But I do not think it's going to be at the Royal Rumble. Him beating AJ Styles twice in a row, it seems too easy. I think AJ Styles is going to shock us because we know he's going to retire this year. I think this is too early in the year. We're in January. I don't think AJ Styles goes past WrestleMania, though. So we'll get into that a little bit later. I thought that setup was perfect. Once again, the Finn Balor match was fucking perfect. Seeing him come out to his old song, doing his Bullet Club shit, I thought was fantastic. I think Finn Balor, he's in perfect shape. I think Finn Balor needs to be in the world title contention. I think he could still do it. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the roster and kind of elaborate on the way their year started and what I think about it. We're going to start off with Adam Pearce. This whole Adam Pearce, Braun Breaker thing, Paul Heyman thing, I think is an interesting twist, but I don't think. Everybody keeps talking about Adam Pearce is going to end up wrestling Braun Breaker. I think that's stupid. I think that if Adam Pearce has one more match in him, it needs to be against Nick Aldis. I think Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis, maybe the loser loses their GM role. I think that is the best match you can make if you're going to do an Adam Pearce or a Nick Aldis match. However, I do think that because Adam Pearce touched Braun Breaker first, I do kind of like where this is going because this could potentially end Adam Pearce's run as Raw GM. Now, who would replace him? Break the walls down. I actually think it's very possible Chris Jericho becomes the general manager of Raw. You heard it here first. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Chris Jericho wants that one last run, and I think he'll still have it. Because if you keep Gunther on the red brand and Chris Jericho is the GM, I think you could easily set up a Chris Jericho-Gunther match. But I think the answer to this, if you're going to remove Adam Pearce, is to replace him with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, as you know, they wanted to do a retirement run with him. I don't think Chris Jericho is going to be here for no 3 to 5 years as a wrestler, anything like that. But the Adam Pearce thing, I think his Raw GM spot may be coming to an end. And with this being a new year, they may do the same thing with Nick Aldis. I'm not 100% sure. But I do like the direction that they're going with Adam Pearce right now. We got some NXT people. Adriana Rizzo, look, not too interested in her. AJ Lee, I think, will come back and wrestle Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. So I do believe that's going to happen. AJ Styles, I believe that he will have this last feud with Gunther. It will end his career. Sad for me to feel, but I think that's what will happen. When it comes to AJ Lee, I'm not a big fan of AJ Lee. I never have been. I don't think she's here for one large run. I think she's here for a WrestleMania moment, and I think it's very possible that she goes in and she beats Becky Lynch. In fact, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. AJ Lee is going to beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania to become the champion and then probably lose it the next pay-per-view after that. You know what I mean? I think that's probably what we're looking at. Anyway, Tozawa, I think Tozawa's getting cut this year. I don't think Tozawa's going to be around. I think we saw with Otis the other week when Otis was kind of fed up. I think we got an Otis heel turn coming, which is excellent. Alba Fire, I think she gets put out this year. I think the Secret Harvest is done. And so I think Alba Fire does get cut this year completely. Aleister Black, I think he will have a mid-card year. I know that he did hurt himself during the Damian Priest match, the ambulance match, or whatever the fuck it was. So Aleister Black, he had scheduled time off coming anyway. I don't think we see anything major with Aleister Black this year. I hope we see some sort of House of Black, or maybe he joins the Wyatt Six, or anything like that. The tag team division, as much as I love the Wyatt Six, I think that the tag team division on both sides is stale as fuck right now. Like, they got the Motor City Machine Guns. They got the Wyatt Six, which, by the way, I think the Wyatt Six should be more evil And I don't like them holding the tag titles. I feel like it boxes them in. I feel like the Wyatt Six, since they came back, the only thing they've done is go after the tag titles from the minute they got here. And the minute they returned from Bo Dallas's injury, it's just been about the tag team titles. When it comes to the tag team division, we're going to talk about that. The Motor City Machine Guns, obviously they're going to remain a contender the whole time. Alexa Bliss, she's doing a really great job. I don't like her with Charlotte Flair. Fine, it was cute for a second, but Alexa Bliss needs to go back to the Wyatt Six. It has to happen. The Wyatt Six needs the injection. Alexa Bliss needs the injection. It's just the truth. Andre Chase in NXT, I think he's going to get fired this year. Angel and Berto, I think they're going to do a lot of work in AAA, which I think that's where them and Santos Escobar belongs. Maybe you will see a good quality match between them and maybe the Lucha Brothers once they reform. This is the year I think that the Street Profits split up. And I think that's bad news for Angelo Dawkins. Because I do not believe they have anything for Angelo Dawkins. In fact, when you really think about it, the thought of Angelo Dawkins being without Montez Ford, he's basically Jim the Anvil Neidhart. He's done. He's done. Apollo Crews, I think this is the year he gets fired. Ariana Grace, I think you'll see a lot of her with NXT, TNA. Asuka, I believe that it's very possible we see Asuka versus Kairi Sane towards WrestleMania. I think that they're playing a lot with the Asuka bully and shit. As much as I think the women's tag division is on fire right now, I don't believe we're going to see Charlotte and Alexa stay together, and I do not believe that the Kabuki Warriors stay together. I do not believe Rhea Ripley and Io Sky stay together. So I think with Asuka, the big story for her this year is going to be essentially her and Kairi Sane going at it. I think that's what we're going to see. Austin Theory, I think he's going to get a mid-card title this year. I like the look. I like what he's doing. I hope they didn't bring him back just to job him out. I really like the vision. I love the fact that they're doing the color scheme. They're dressed in all black. Big Bronson Reed, I love him. Logan Paul, I actually think fits better in this faction than I ever thought he would. And I think Austin Theory really, really can fit. I think that when you get Paul Heyman in his ear, maybe Braun Breaker when he comes back, he picks him up as little buddy and shit, and you know what I mean? Bullies him a little bit and gets him fired up. I think that would be really cool. And I think that's also a way that you can turn Austin Theory face. Now, a lot of people say that Austin Theory and Logan Paul are plants for Seth Rollins. I think that would be a good move. Ava, you need to get her ass out to NXT GM. William Regal needs to return as the NXT GM. I do think they will do that. And I know a lot of you are saying, that's the Rock's daughter. They ain't going to do that. Yeah, I think they're going to do it. Fraxium, I do not like Fraxium at all. I think that they should turn, not Axiom, but Nathan Frazier heel. I think you turn Nathan Frazier heel, you have a little feud with him. And I know what you're saying right now. A lot of tag teams seem to be breaking up, JB. That's true. B-Fab, I think she gets cut this year. This whole Bayley and Lyra thing, I think will end up, obviously, with Lyra turning heel. I don't think it'll be Bayley this time. And I think what will happen is Bayley will go back to hug Bayley. But I think with Lyra Valkyrie, making her a heel brings something new to her, and I think she needs it. I think she definitely needs it. I know that's another tag team broke up, but I don't really look at Bayley and Lyra as a tag team right now anyway. They're not getting any tag title matches, and I don't think they're going to put that much emphasis on the women's tag team title for years in a row. I think Nia Jax and Lash Legend will probably win the titles, somewhere along those lines. Becky Lynch, I think she'll go on to lose the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I think that'll be her big thing. She might win another world title, or she may then switch over to win the U.S. title. I think that's very possible. Bianca Belair, I think she wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to beat Jade Cargill at WrestleMania to become the WWE Women's Champion. I think that's where we go there. And then we have kind of a Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair feud for a little bit. But I think ultimately Bianca Belair wins the title, gets rid of, and the Royal Rumble. Blake Monroe, I think she moves up to SmackDown. I want to see a Tiffany Stratton, Blake Monroe tag team. I think that would be fantastic. Remember the beautiful people back in TNA? I get it. You're like, but yeah, that's two singles wrestlers. Yeah, but we got enough single stars right now. Blake Monroe working with Tiffany Stratton gives them both reps. I don't think you're going to put the title back on Tiffany Stratton right now. But a tag title run with Blake Monroe and Tiffany Stratton, with them being the cocky, sexy heel blondes, I think would be fantastic. Do I think they'll do it? No, I don't. I think instead they'll probably put them in a feud, and I think that's probably the wrong move. Uncle Howdy, I'm going to say something here, and I'm not sure you guys are going to agree. I love the Wyatt Six. I think once they put Alexa Bliss in this thing and it fails, I think the Wyatt Six gets cut after WrestleMania. When they do their spring and fall cleaning. And this hurts my soul because I'm a Wyatt Six guy. I'm a Bray Wyatt guy. I think this is it. I don't think Bo Dallas is capable. He's great in the promos. I don't think he's capable in the ring. Eric Rowan is definitely not capable in the ring. And I do think Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, I think they're fine, but I just don't see anything here. I don't see anything. I don't think Triple H knows how to book them. I don't think any of that. Let's go ahead and go here so see that. Brad Baylor, these people. I think the Americanos are going to switch back to obviously Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. The minute that Chad Gable comes back, I think you're going to have a Chad Gable versus Ludwig Kaiser, and I think that's the way you need to go. I think we'll see the end of the Americanos storyline. Well, I don't think so because they love them in AAA. But I think that at some point, Ludwig Kaiser, I don't know, man. Do you really think Ludwig Kaiser is going to play that role for a whole other year? Maybe. I mean, they weren't giving him any titles by himself, but I definitely think Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne need to return to the tag division and be, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Brock Lesnar, I think he does really well in the Royal Rumble. I think Brock Lesnar, here's what I think. I think it's very possible we see Brock Lesnar versus AJ or Chris Jericho. I think, not AJ or Chris Jericho, I think Brock Lesnar maybe only has one or two matches before SummerSlam. And maybe he'll have a couple matches with Gunther leading into the retirement match. I don't think Brock Lesnar gets any wins this year. Maybe one against Gunther. I don't think Brock Lesnar's, I think he's done. Because what are you going to do with him? Maybe a championship match against CM Punk. Maybe you go that route if you're going to keep CM Punk the champion. But I don't think Brock Lesnar gets in any big programs until Gunther. I just don't see it. Maybe he puts over Obafemi. And I think that would be a cool thing for him to do is put over Obafemi. But I think Brock Lesnar's done. And that saddens me to say. Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker does win the World Heavyweight title. And I think it will be over CM Punk at WrestleMania. I know a lot of you are saying, well, he's already lost clean to CM Punk. But I don't think it's over. I don't think Seth Rollins makes it back in time for WrestleMania. I think that's what they were hoping for. And maybe they got some sort of information that says he will be back. But I just don't think so. I think that for Braun Breaker, I think you have no choice. Maybe Braun Breaker needs to, beat Brock Lesnar too. I don't know. Bronson Reed. I think Bronson Reed needs a big year. I don't think we're going to get it. I think Bronson Reed, I really hope he can win a tag title or a mid-card title. But when I think about it, I think Logan Paul and Austin Theory is the tag team that they're going with in the Vision. When Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were tag teams, that's when they had a chance to win the titles. Honestly, I think Bronson Reed he'll be a destroyer, but I just don't see him getting the push like he should this year. He should get the push. But I think they got too many big people. I think they're going to push Obafemi. I don't think they're going to give Bronson Reed any big wins over any of the big boys. He's not. I don't think he's going to beat Brock Lesnar or wrestle Brock Lesnar. I don't think he's going to get Gunther. Obafemi, I think he'll lose to at some point. I just don't. I don't know. I don't see anything for him. The Creed brothers, I think, win a tag team title this year, and I think Chad Gable wins an Intercontinental title this year. I think Ivy Nile wins an Intercontinental title. I think at some point in 2026, All of American Made has a title. I think that's because it's got to be the only reason they're holding off the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers aren't hurt. Why aren't they wrestling? Why isn't Ivy Nile wrestling? Because they're waiting on Chad Gable to come back. And I think that, remember when Chad Gable left? He said, I want you guys to be holding titles when I come back. So I think, look, the Creed brothers haven't won the tag titles yet. That would be fresh. The Intercontinental title or the U.S. title, either one. I think maybe Chad Gable comes back and beats Carmelo Hayes. Maybe that. I think Chad Gable returns this at the Royal Rumble, if you ask me. And I think Ivy Nile could be a United States champion. I think she could. I think you got to go with the U.S. titles because of the American-made stuff. I think that's what you have to do. So I think that's the direction we're going there. Candice LeRae, I think she gets cut this year. Carmelo Hayes, I think he will lose the U.S. title with one of these open challenges. And I think it'll be to Chad Gable. I honestly do think it'll be Chad Gable. Chad Gable, we just got them talking about him. I think he becomes U.S. champion and keeps it for a while. I think he ends the open challenges. That's what I think. NXT, Channing Lorenzo, Charlie Dempsey, nothing major there. Charlotte Flair. I think that once she breaks up with Alexa Bliss, she's kind of heartbroken, but she gets back. I think Charlotte Flair this year goes after the mid-card titles, maybe goes over to Raw, goes for the Intercontinental title. That's what I think. I don't think we see a Charlotte Flair world title reign this year. So that's just kind of how I see it. Chelsea Green. I think she will get a world title match this year. Will she win it? No. But I do think her and Matt Cardona go back to the Attitude Era and have kind of a dirty on-screen romance. And I think that would be fantastic, funny, all of that. I think the Secret Harvest is done. That's what I believe. CM Punk, I believe he loses the world title at WrestleMania to Braun Breaker. And I think after that, we may get a Roman match. We may get a Seth match. But I don't think CM Punk does anything really big the rest of the year. Unless we're going to get a Cody match, which that's the biggest match they can do. Speaking of Cody, Cody obviously just lost to Drew McIntyre. A part of me believes Cody Rhodes wins the title back before WrestleMania. But I'm starting not to believe it. I think the Cody heel turn comes. I don't know if it's at WrestleMania. Because here's the truth. When I look at the Royal Rumble, and I say, okay, who's going to win the Royal Rumble? There is a possibility of Brock Lesnar. No. Braun Breaker. I think that's the answer. I know a lot of people are going with Roman Reigns because they think we're going to see Roman versus Drew or Roman versus Cody at Mania. My belief is that it is possible that Cody Rhodes beats Drew McIntyre prior to WrestleMania, and Roman wins the Royal Rumble. No, Braun Breaker. Roman wins the Royal Rumble and picks Cody, and then Braun Breaker wins the Elimination Chamber and picks CM Punk. I think that's very possible with the Elimination Chamber being in Chicago. But my WrestleMania main events, Roman and Cody, I think they're going to do. Roman, Cody 3. And I think we're going to get Braun Breaker and CM Punk. That's what I think. So Cody Rhodes, I do think wins the title back to this year and then is in the main event of WrestleMania. Let's see. I believe that the Latino World Order gets cut this year. I'm talking about Cruz del Toro and what's his name, the other one. I think they will get cut this year. I also think the Dark State in NXT, I believe that they fall completely off the map. I believe they will try to call them up at some point. It'll be a complete failure like the whatchamacallit with Mustafa Ali and them did. I think it'll be a complete shit show, and I think that ultimately the Dark State is gone. Damian Priest, I don't see him doing anything big this year. Maybe a mid-card title, but I think he's out of the world title picture. I just don't see them doing anything with him other than the Aleister Black stuff. I think maybe they'll job him out to Powerhouse Hobbs when Powerhouse Hobbs returns or signs. I think that's a definite possibility. Maybe he can feud with a heel Chris Jericho, something like that. But I don't think Damian Priest is in a main event position the entire rest of this year. Dominic Mysterio, I think he loses to Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. I think what we'll have is Dominic Mysterio, maybe not to Rey. I actually think he might lose the AAA title to Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio's never won it. And then maybe at WrestleMania we have some sort of title for title thing and Dominic wins it there. But I think Dominic Mysterio turns face this year. Or Rey turns heel. We saw Rey Mysterio use the brass knuckles last night. Man, wouldn't that be the shit if Rey turns heel and joins Dominic? But I think before we get there, we're going to see Finn Balor versus Dominic. Dragon Lee, he's not a big deal. Look, man, he's just not a big deal. Maybe you put him with Penta and Rey Fenix and they have some sort of like trio shit going on, but there's just nothing to Dragon. He's just a mid-carder. It just is what it is. Drew McIntyre, unfortunately, I think he loses the WWE title by WrestleMania, at the very least at WrestleMania. And look, Drew's the main eventer. Drew's going to be a bad motherfucker the whole year anyway. El Grande Americano, we're going to have the Chad Gable versus Ludwig Kaiser feud for that shit. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Elton Prince, he's out injured for quite some time. And guys, I think Kit Wilson and Elton Prince is out of here. Maybe they won't cut him while Elton Prince is injured. But yeah, I think Elton Prince and Kit Wilson's out of here. I don't think they're going to be here anymore. I think Eric Rowan is out of here. The minute they decide they're done with this fucking Wyatt Six shit, and I think they will be, unfortunately, Rowan's definitely out of here. The War Raiders, mid-card tag, I don't know what they're ever going to do with them. Ethan Page, I do think that he becomes NXT champion and maybe even get some matches on the main roster. I would like to see Ethan Page and Austin Theory as a unit. I don't think we're going to get it. Fallon Henley, I don't believe she's going to get called up. I believe she'll be down there on NXT for a while. Finn Balor gets a good face run, maybe even a mid-card title. That's what I think. Ilya Dragunov, I think we will see the Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther feud this year. I think Ilya Dragunov will move into the main event scene, and I think that's good for him. Gunther, he's going to continue to end careers. Grayson Waller, I think, gets cut this year. I think he's done. I think he's out of here. I think Julia, she will eventually at some point get rid of that manager bitch that she currently has, and I think we're going to see a good Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer feud. I think that, or maybe even a tag team. That would be fucking fantastic. But I do believe Julia is going to be pushed even more this year than last year. Maybe a world title match. I think that's very, very possible. Ivy Nile, I think she'll get a mid-card title. Io Sky, I think, will feud with Rhea Ripley. I don't know. I think Rhea Ripley will turn heel again this year. I think it's a necessity. I think they're going to do this little tag team for a very small amount of time, probably lose the titles at WrestleMania. But I think ultimately Rhea Ripley becomes the heel here, and we get a proper Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky feud. Jacob Fatu is a wild card. I think Jacob Fatu might sneak in a world title. I don't 100% think so, but what I think we'll actually get is a proper Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu feud. I think that is where we're going to go. Maybe Roman and him is the SummerSlam match. And I think they revisit the bloodline shit. And I think it's going to be a very interesting thing. JC Jane, I don't know what they're doing with her down in NXT. I don't think she's getting caught up. A lot of people think she is. I don't think she is. Jade Cargill, I think she loses the world title at WrestleMania, but I think she continues to feud with Bianca Belair throughout the year. Maybe even they go back and forth with the title for a while. Jada Parker, I think she'll win the NXT Women's Championship. Jasper Troy, I think he'll win the NXT Championship. JC Mateo, I think, gets cut this year. He has not been impressive since he came. He's a little short, fat fucker. I do not think Jeff Cobb fits the bloodline. I don't think he fits this. There's going to be a change. I do not believe that JC Mateo will be in the bloodline or in MFT by the end of this year. I don't think he just doesn't fit. JD McDonough, he'll be out injured for a while. I could see him coming back as a heel, as what he is, and feuding with Finn Balor, which I think would be fantastic. They're best friends. I think that would be great. Javon Evans, I think, wins a mid-card title this year. At some point, or a tag title. He'll win one of them titles. Jey Uso, I think, will turn heel on no. Maybe they are going to stick with the Usos. It just feels weird, doesn't it? It doesn't feel right. Like, part of me feels like the entire thing with Jey Uso is he's still craving that world title main event Jey Uso run, right? And maybe that's what happens. Maybe Jey Uso turns heel on Jimmy Uso and we get a feud there. Or maybe we see them involved in the bloodline shit. I think they should just keep them as the Usos. I don't think that Jey or Jimmy are as good as a single. I think they need to keep that there. Joe Hendry, I think he will become NXT champion this year, and I think he'll dominate NXT for the majority of the year. Johnny Gargano, it's going to be, I think he gets cut. If Tommaso Ciampa's really gone, I just don't. Johnny Gargano's too little. Candice LeRae is going to get cut. Without Tommaso Ciampa, I just don't see him being able to do anything. Jordan Grace, I believe she will be a main eventer all year long. I think maybe even she joins that Stephanie Vaquer-Julia feud. I don't think she wins the title. I do think it's very possible we see Jordan Grace versus Bianca Belair later in the year, and I think that would be cool, but I don't think they could jump right into it because I think they're going to job her out to Jade Cargill. And it makes me sick, but I think they're going to job her out to Jade Cargill. Let's see here. Who else we got here? We got some NXT people, Kalani Jordan. Nothing really major. Kevin Owens. I think we see Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho feud. I do. I think Chris Jericho comes back. He's GM. Kevin Owens remembers they used to be friends. I think we see some sort of Chris Jericho, KO, Sami Zayn thing. I can't wait till KO gets back, though. I can't wait. Kiana James, I think she gets cut this year. I don't think she's cut out for this shit. The New Day, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with them. I don't know. Maybe they get a tag title, and maybe them and the Usos go back and forth. I don't know. LA Knight, I don't think he gets the run that you guys want him to get. I don't think he gets the run. Who's he going to beat? He's not going to beat Braun Breaker. He's not going to beat Cody or Roman. Maybe he beats Braun Breaker, but I don't. Seth's going to be back. I think maybe Intercontinental Champion. I don't know. LA Knight's getting old, and I think his time is up. I just don't think he's going to do it. I do believe Lash Legend's going to win tag team titles. I think that's for sure. I think Leon Slater signs full-time with the WWE. Lexus King, they got to do something with quick because he sure isn't looking good. Logan Paul, I would love to see as world champion, but I don't think he wins any titles. I think he's really good this year, but I think this will be his least impactful year. Does that make sense? Liv Morgan, I think is very possible. We see Liv Morgan. She's probably going to win tag team titles with Roxanne. I do think that Liv Morgan will turn on Finn Balor. And that will lead to the Dominic Finn Balor feud. And I think Liv Morgan eventually and Raquel Rodriguez eventually go at it. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. Lola Vice, I think, gets called up. Lyra, I think, turns heel. Let's see what else we got here. Matt Cardona, they really need to do that romance thing. I think Maxine Dupree's on her way out. I think there was a failed opportunity. They tried her as U.S. champ or as Intercontinental champ. I don't think she improved. I think Maxine Dupree gets out of here this year. I also think Mi Chen gets cut this year, and I think The Miz retires. I think Gunther retires The Miz as well as part of this whole thing. R-Truth. Then The Miz comes back as face. I think that's what we're going to see. Nia Jax becomes tag team champion. Natalya becomes a mid-card women's champion as Natty. I think we're going to see that this year. Naomi returns, and she gets back as the heel, and I think maybe she joins that Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill thing. I think that's what we're going to see. Montez Ford goes on a singles run after the breakup of the of the Street Profits. Nikki Bella, I think she's going to become a manager this year. Not sure to who. Nikki Cross, I think she's going to get fired this year. Let's see who else we got. Oba Femi, I think he's going to dominate all year. I think Oba Femi has to be the guy to beat Braun Breaker. I think that's what you have to go with. Maybe not till next year's WrestleMania, but it's got to be. Otis, I think, goes on some sort of heel run and then gets released. I don't think he makes it through the year. I think Penta and Rey Fenix come back together as the Lucha Brothers and win tag team gold at some point this year. I think Raquel Rodriguez, I don't see her winning the women's title. She's not going to beat Stephanie McCurry. So we're going to see some sort of Liv Morgan Raquel thing. Maybe Liv Morgan turns face and Raquel and what's her name? Roxanne stays together. Randy Orton, I don't think he does anything all year. Maybe if Cody Rhodes remains champion, we finally see that Randy versus Cody feud. I think that's what they should do. I think that Cody Rhodes should retain against Roman Reigns, and then we finally see Randy Orton versus Cody. However they're going to do it. R-Truth, I think he retires this year. Piper Niven, I think she retires this year. Rey Mysterio, I think retires. If not this WrestleMania, the one after, and I think it will be Dominic that somehow retires him in some aspect. Ricky Saints, I think he'll be one of the top guys in NXT this year. Rhea Ripley, I think she's going to have that EO feud. The Rock ain't going to do shit. Roman, I've basically already told you, I don't think he's winning the title this year. Roxanne Perez, I pretty much told you what I think is going to happen there. It's going to be Judgment Day shit. Rusev, I don't know what the fuck's up with Rusev. They need to bring back Lana this year and do the Rusev thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bulgarian Brute or whatever the fuck. They need to do that. Like he's a fantastic mid-card guy. Sheamus, I think, is hurt. But you need those Sheamuses, the Rusevs, the Priests, the Aleister Blacks. It's a perfect mid-card division. You got to have it. Sami Zayn. I do think he's going to win the Fatal 4-Way. Part of me thinks it's possible that he wins the world title and then the WWE title and then loses it immediately. But I don't think they're going to do that this year. I do think he's winning the Fatal 4-Way. But I think he loses to Drew McIntyre at Royal Rumble. But I think Sami Zayn next year wins the title. because that WrestleMania will also be in Saudi Arabia. Santos Escobar, I think, becomes AAA champion. I think that's what we got with him. Seth Rollins, it depends on how long he's hurt. I think he's going to come back, and then he's going to feud with the Vision. I think that's a for sure thing. I don't know what Sheamus is going to do when he comes back. Probably nothing. I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to retire this year. That's another person that you can have Gunther retire. Shinsuke Nakamura, he says he doesn't know how much longer he's going to go. You can have Gunther retire. Imagine Gunther retiring all of these people in the same year. Absolutely. The Tongas, I think, once again, we'll see a bloodline thing. I do think we will see the Tongas win the tag team titles. I wish it needs to be G.O.D. It needs to be Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. They're the tag team. Stephanie Vaquera, I think, has a great year and then eventually feuds. Her first real fucking good feud is with Julia. I think they're going to do it. Solo Sikoa, once again, I think it's going to be a bloodline thing this year. So I think that's what we're going to see. Sol Ruka, I think she's going to come up to the main roster, but I don't think she's going to win anything at all. Tiffany Stratton, remember what I said? I think you need to see Tiffany Stratton. I think you need to team her up with Mariah May, make a tag team, go with that. Let's see, Trick Williams will win the U.S. or Intercontinental title at some point. I think you should even put him and Carmelo back together as an act. But I do think Trick Williams will win a title this year. I'm not sure which one, but I think he wins one this year. Tony D'Angelo, I think, wins the NXT title at some point this year. We're almost done. I think Zelina Vega, she just remains a manager. I think Zoe Stark gets fired this year. And I think that's pretty much where we're going. Those are the main people here. I think that's what I predict for pretty much everybody this year. I don't know what you guys think. If you guys think that I'm right on any of these. The thing that bothers me is I don't know if I want Roman to win. Like, I don't want... Part of me knows we need Roman Cody 3, and I think you could do it without the belt. But I think the perfect thing is to do Roman Cody 3, have Cody turn heel, because everybody expected Randy to be the heel. And I think we need to have the Randy Cody thing. I think that's just where we go. All right, Saturday Night Main Event. Here's my predictions. I believe that Sami Zayn wins the Fatal 4-Way to go to Royal Rumble. I think that Rio defeat the Judgment Day. That's a hard one, though. Because if we're going to have Rio versus Io, or Rhea versus Io at WrestleMania, you know what? I'm going with Judgment Day. And I think Rhea's going to turn heel. Maybe not that day, but I think Rhea's going to turn heel. So I'm going with Sami Zayn. I'm going with Judgment Day. And I think Jacob Fatu beats Cody Rhodes. He needs the win. I think he gets the win. Royal Rumble, here's what I'm going with here. Drew McIntyre will beat Sami Zayn to retain the title. AJ Styles will beat Gunther to retain his career by some sort of disqualification or something. Bianca Belair will win the Women's Royal Rumble. And my final pick is Roman Reigns wins the Men's Royal Rumble. That's where I'm going. Just a little bit of news. Naomi explains why she walked out of the WWE back in 2002. She explains why she walked out. She said, I'm not going to go too much into the detail, but in 2022, my tag partner Sasha and I were the tag champions. A lot happened that day at work that led us to leave, literally walk out. I needed to stand up for myself, not as Naomi, but as Trinity. And that was the first time in my life and my career that I wasn't employed and didn't know what to do next or go. I mean, it is what it is. I very much so judged them. And I still think Sasha Banks ain't shit. Guys, we got Powerhouse Hobbs. It is widely believed that he has signed with the company and with the WWE. Powerhouse Hobbs, in my opinion, will debut in the Royal Rumble. Let me give you my Royal Rumble surprises. Chris Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs, and I think Paige returns in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think Paige returns. But I do think Powerhouse Hobbs will have a great showing in the Men's Royal Rumble. Guys, the other day, Trey Miguel, if you don't remember, the Rascals signed to AEW, 4 of them. Well, anyway, he was fired 5 days later, and come to find out, he got fired because Warner Brothers Discovery did the same thing with him that they did with Jay Briscoe, all over some fucking tweet or messages that he wrote before. So basically, what we saw here was Miguel had previously apologized for remarks. Now, what he had done, let's see, what he had done. His social media history resurfaced. Basically, it was a bunch of anti-homo comments. Somebody was trolling him. And so basically, he let him have it. And a lot of people, you know, he did apologize. He's been wrestling all this time. I don't think, but Tony Khan and his company is so liberal, they're probably never going to forgive him. And Warner Brothers Discovery is the same way. And if Warner Brothers Discovery don't want you there, you're not going to be there. Jim Ross took another foul fall. Jim Ross, I think, needs to chill his ass out. Jim Ross is consistently in the hospital. And I fear we're going to lose Jim Ross really, really soon. And that's a shame because I think Jim Ross is fucking excellent. And I love him. And he just needs to chill out, man. And I know this is hypocritical because I'm fat and a smoker too. He really needs to, like, you can tell he's falling apart. And I think we're going to wake up one morning and we're going to see a bad story. Speaking of bad story, I don't know if you guys saw the AAA aired AI video showing Dominic Mysterio with the AEW title. Yeah, you can't be using AI to make your wrestling promos on your wrestling show. You can't be doing it. You can't be doing it. Whether it's triple A or not. TNA. AMC executives say they're very, very happy with TNA's. I can't wait to see what TNA's ratings look like. Because, look, Collision only has like 250,000. I want to see TNA beat AEW. That's just the way it goes. I want to see TNA beat AEW, and I think they can. But they gotta get a solid roster in place. They have to. They gotta get a solid roster in place. Lean on Tessa Blanchard as your top chick, or get her ass over to the WWE so she can join that Julia Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vaquer feud. I'd love to see that. That would be fucking fantastic. Anyway, so that's what's been going on in wrestling. That is kind of, I know this was a long video, but I kind of wanted to give you my entire overlook since it's my first video of the year. Now we'll get back to doing reviews and all of that shit now that we're caught up. So if you missed, by the way, Raw last night, if you missed Raw last night, hold on, where'd it go? Fuck it. Fuck it. Oh, yeah, no, fuck it. Anyway, if you missed Raw last night, it was a really good Raw. SmackDown has been very good. I'm really impressed with it. WWE has released their WWE Unreal on Netflix. It's up, I believe. And so that's season 2. You guys can go watch that. Hope you guys all enjoy yourself. To the AEW fans, I'm sorry you guys are struggling so much. To the WWE fans, we're eating good right now. Let's see if we can keep eating good. TNA, get your plate right. This shit is rough. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new news video and more commentary. Probably go over NXT a little bit. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm out of here. Holla at your boy.